these guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I see this is the real fighters who can give me good fights.
I'd rather see him fight Morales. I think Morales as a physical beast, green, but a physical beast, presents an interesting kind of challenge for Islam.
Ian Garry did not poke a hole in the boat of Islam's invincibility aura, but he showed that one might exist. And I do think that Morales versus Islam, for the first time ever, just became interesting.
Who does Islam fight next, Prates or Morales, and why? I would go with Michael Morales. My personal opinion is Michael Morales. The reason why I say Michael Morales is he's undefeated.
The question is, who's next? He says he wants to defend multiple more times, get to 20 fights in a row, winning streak. And that would mean fighting a Michael Morales. That would mean fighting potentially a Shavkat, potentially fighting a Carlos Prates, and maybe even rematching an old Ian Machado Garry.
Before Ramadan, okay. So you're shooting for January.
Of course. January, end of the year, I have to fight.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Tonight wasn't my night. I feel great. I did great. Islam was just better to me than me tonight, and that's okay. I want everybody who loves me and supports me and wants to see me do better. I want you to know that I'm going to be back. I'm not disheartened by this. I'm bulletproof in my mind. I'll be back. I'm 28 years of age. I just fought arguably the greatest fighter we've ever seen in this sport.
The analyst kept attacking Makhachev's performance, calling it boring and criticizing his lack of offense.
4-1 is crazy. They literally gave him round 4 despite him landing no effective damage. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But there you go. Generational Dagestani slander coming is fine. Just boring fuck, dude. He landed a head kick in round 2. And other than that, he did nothing! For 20 minutes! He did nothing! That's the truth! 0! He caught him with a head kick in round 2. And other than that, he did nothing. The whole fight. One head kick in round 2. Look at his face. He did nothing. Boring cunt. 2 in a row. Nothing to JDM and nothing to Ian Garry. But this time it's worse.
Luke Thomas leans the same way, pointing to Morales' size, strength, and physicality as qualities that make for a fascinating test.
Who do we think is next? Do we think Prates is next? Do we think Morales is next? I think honestly Morales might be next, but who knows if they give him Prates. Who would you rather see? Now, me personally, I'd take either. I'd rather see him fight Morales. I think Morales as a physical beast, green, but a physical beast, presents an interesting kind of challenge for Islam. How do you deal with a guy who might be defensively stout and just a tank at 170? And I think Prates is like deceptively strong, but the grappling differential, right? I mean, how many times did Ian get Prates down? Ian got Prates down 4 times. It's like, bro, if Ian can do that, I mean, you would imagine
Islam Makhachev isn't done. The double champion has called out Carlos Prates for his next fight. Prates, caught debating a friend of Michael Morales, wants Islam in December for the welterweight title. Makhachev wants to return before Ramadan, targeting a January comeback, and he's open to fighting as early as the end of year. He's healthy, injury-free, and wants to stay active while that lasts.
Are you looking to be able to fight 2 times next year after Ramadan?
Bro, we have to fight before Ramadan, 100%.
Before Ramadan, okay. So you're shooting for January.
Of course. January, end of the year, I have to fight.
Maybe even the end of this year?
Yeah, because I'm not like 20-somethings. I'm 34 years old, and I have to fight soon as possible because I'm not cut much weight. I don't have like any big injuries, just have to maybe double check my nose. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before this fight also, I give my approval to fight in White House. It's long story why I'm not there, but I told beginning of the summer I want to fight. I call Ali, I call everybody, I want to fight. but it's not something I chose and I make, you know.
UFC 330 is in the books. Focus shifts to what's next for Makhachev, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, or someone else. Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for updates. Makhachev has no plans to return to lightweight. He's staying at welterweight, enjoying the training and avoiding the weight cut.
Well,
that debate is already drawing attention from analysts. Chael Sonnen calls Makhachev's performance against Ian Garry complete, but sees Michael Morales as the more intriguing next challenge, citing his power, explosiveness, and potential to defend takedowns.
Watching Islam tonight, I cannot tell you what his weaknesses are. He really fought everywhere and he fought well. But my interest in seeing Michael Morales take on Islam did not exist until now. Just now is when I realized that Morales could do a better job defending takedowns than Ian, at least in theory, and that Morales can engage a little bit more explosively. I can't say Morales' combinations are better than Garry, but I think that his power is. And all of a sudden, Morales starts to look like a very interesting proposition.
Before looking ahead, Makhachev reflected on his fight with Ian Garry. He calls him a frustrating opponent, whose patient approach made it hard to deliver the action fans expected.
And I see his leg, try to take him down. He has like some good defense, you know, but very hard to show good performance with someone like that.
Luke Thomas calls it a highly technical, defensive battle. Not the most entertaining fight, he admits, but an important one given Garry's strong defense and the skill Makhachev had to show. A tough win.
That he had to get up against a very skilled competitor, but because he couldn't, this is one of the worries that we had. Garry's defense is going to be so strong that Islam's going to be just ahead of him, but not really able to advance the attack all that much. And that's basically what you got, right? That's basically what you got. And so I think people might undersell the value of this win. This win to me was not aesthetically pleasing, and it was not necessarily the height of interesting in all the ways that maybe it could have been for people this skilled, but as a defensive battle, and the level of skill that Islam had to show against a guy like this up a weight class, very, very special.
Makhachev plans to add size and power before his next fight, keeping the aggressive mentality.
I still have to gain some weight, try to be more big, more power, you know, and I have time, you know. And what this fight show me and show everybody, it's not like my hardest fight, you know. Doesn't matter how its fight is gonna go, easy or hard. From the first minute to last second, I'm going to war. I'm gonna fight every second.
The fight drew criticism. Dana White questioned Garry's lack of aggression, especially when he hugged and shook hands with Makhachev in round 5 instead of finishing.
This is my honest opinion on it. I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That drives me crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also a lot of mental gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. This is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, wish I could do that over again. I don't know if he was in his head and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but, you know, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight.
Makhachev agrees with White. It was a war, not a friendly matchup. He came to break his opponent's face.
Beginning of the 5th round, he high-fived you. Dana White said he hates that. He wished you guys would just...
Bro, honestly, I don't understand, man. This is the fight. This is not something we have to, like, hug each other every round, you know? we're going to war to broke the face, to broke the eye, you know. That's why I respect all my opponents, but Ian, I don't know, he respect too much.
What did he say to you after the fight? Because it looked like he came and
He
shouted.
just said, I fight today with the greatest fighter. Yeah, I respect him, you know. He's a good guy, very kind, you know. But this is the war, you know. Look my face. I just come to beat everybody. It's not some things you have to play. This is fight. This is not game.
Ariel Helwani believes Makhachev's next defenses will reveal more about him, especially with Garry having shown a blueprint for future challenges. The panel also points to Michael Morales and other top contenders as major tests ahead.
It's not going to be the easiest ride for him. Like, he's not, like, these next few title defenses are really going to tell us who Islam Makhachev is, in my opinion.
100%. And if you were to say what would be his hardest, like in this fight, like before this fight, he's going to defend, so who's going to be the hardest? Probably you would have played, I don't know, would you have placed Ian Garry? I probably would have put Morales as harder in the sense of how big he was and all of the things you're talking about, but you probably wouldn't have had Ian Garry. But to see Ian Garry come out there and I guess put some tape out there on how to maybe like do some things, and now you're talking about these two monsters that are in attendance and they're waiting out there. When you were talking about like the whole Anderson Silva thing and his leg is like where he's at.
An MMA analyst pushed back on White's criticism, arguing that Dagestani fighters get away with the same cage control without facing the same backlash. The complaint: Makhachev held Garry against the fence for long stretches without offense, yet White rarely criticizes fighters from Dagestan the way he does others, and they're never pushed to entertain.
It's very impressive what he did. And again, you know, in my my thoughts on how Ian performed tonight, you know, so you can, like I said, you can flip that whole script and then drop it on Islam on how impressively he beat a big, strong, rangy guy who was doing damn good work. You know, Islam did everything he needed to do to beat this guy. And like I said, there's weight classes for a reason, and tonight's matchup was a perfect example of that.
Makhachev admits the fight tested him, but sees it as positive. His mentality stays simple: fight from first to last.
Yeah, he gave me like too many scratches, you know. He gave me like very hard headbutt end of the fourth round when I make him slam. You can see he gave me like back headbutt, and I feel that moment I like in the fight I don't remember when my nose bleeding, you know, and right away the blood is coming out, and I thought maybe I broke the nose or something's happened, you know. He gave me like very hard headbutt, but it's okay. Hard fight, it's make you improve, and I feel improve, you know.
Josh Thompson agrees, favoring Michael Morales over Carlos Prates as Makhachev's next opponent. He points to Morales' unbeaten record, arguing a win that would add weight to Islam's growing GOAT case.
Who does Islam fight next, Prates or Morales, and why? I would go with Michael Morales. My personal opinion is Michael Morales. The reason why I say Michael Morales is he's undefeated. Carlos Prates is not undefeated. Right now, you need to understand that Ian Garry beat Carlos Prates, but it wasn't a great fight. And I like Carlos Prates. I think he's a more entertaining fight than Ian Garry. Ian Garry didn't care what the crowd thought. Ian Garry was going to do what he does. Carlos Prates will mix it up. Carlos Prates will do jumping, flying knees. Carlos Prates will take chances. That's why Carlos Prates got 7 losses. But he's got 24 wins because he's fun to watch fight. He doesn't care. He's having fun fighting. But I think he fights Michael Morales. If I'm Islam, I want to fight the guy that has the O next to his name to better solidify my chance of being called the GOAT. That's why.
Sonnen notes Makhachev has proven himself across 2 divisions, but Garry may have exposed a small crack in that unbeatable image, which only makes a Morales fight more compelling.
So we got a number of things out of tonight. But more than anything, we have a reason. We have a reason to be here. And has Islam proved that he's the best? Yeah, at 2 different weight classes. He sure has. And the 2 weight classes changes all the numbers of all the guys that he was trying to surpass tonight. Changes everything when you're doing it multiple weights. Are we certain nobody can beat him? Are we certain there's not a way for somebody to beat him? No. No, Ian Garry did not poke a hole in the boat of Islam's invincibility aura, but he showed that one might exist. And I do think that Morales versus Islam, for the first time ever, just became interesting.
The panel believes Makhachev's coming title defenses could be the toughest of his reign, shaping his GOAT legacy.
No, can Islam beat this? There's going to be big doubts. A lot of the times when you're talking about John Jones, Anderson Silva, they were in JSP, they were so kind of above the playing field that almost every matchup you felt like would have to be an enormous upset to see them go down. You know what I mean? Maybe toward the end things started getting different, but dude, Makhachev, like right now, those fights look like huge impositions. You know what I mean? They just look like huge roadblocks in his way. So if he's able to kind of defend that belt a couple of more times, I mean, he'll make himself undeniably in that GOAT space, right?
Yes. Oh, 100%, especially against this Murderers Row coming up. I know they're not the most like proven title contenders, but
he argued Makhachev over-relied on cage control and Garry could win a rematch.
Look at his face! Worse than a women's main event! Boring Ian wins a rematch. Other than this head kick that he landed with the toes. Alhamdulillah. He praised Makhachev tonight to land with the toes of a head kick. He did nothing for 24 minutes. But hold Ian against the cage. If he didn't get a back take, which he did nothing with in round 5, he would have lost the fight. Oh wait, they gave him round 4 where he did nothing. Call me toxic all you want. It's the truth. He did nothing.
Makhachev says he'll fight anyone, but he suggests Carlos Prates and Michael Morales settle the #1 contender spot between themselves.
Getting a title shot.
Of Carlos Prates and Michael Morales backstage arguing about who should get the title shot against you next, and they both want it. They both think they deserve it. How do you feel?
I don't know who I want to choose, no matter who is them. Maybe let them fight. Why they not fight in this card to see who is the #1 contender, But it's okay. I'm happy we have some real contenders in this division. And these guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I say this is the real fighters who can give me good fights.